right, welcome back to the Rush Hour Podcast, the 15-minute show where we talk about various Yu-Gi-Oh topics. And today, we will be talking about scrubbing. So in the last episode, we talked about winning, and now we're going to talk about the opposite side of that. Literally, the opposite of winning is just getting destroyed and not making top cut at all, which, if you play competitive Yu-Gi-Oh for long enough, you know exactly how it is to scrub out. Right? You enter enough tournaments, you're not going to do well. So I'll kick things off by saying I scrubbed out of RBET Maryland and I didn't get to play at Nationals at all. Right? So I went from winning Indianapolis to going 0-2 drop at the very next tournament that I played in. Like I went 0-2 at RBET Maryland. I got destroyed. So
you went 0-2 at not to play you down you what about Raleigh. You also
too.
Went 0-2. Yeah,
so I went 0-2, win 0-2. That is my current tournament record right now. That's so wild. But yeah, scrubbing is a part of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I know some people really, really get mad when they lose, but I think a part of maturing in this game is just understanding that you're not going to win them all. You're not going to top them all either. I don't care how good you are. Patrick Hoban, Jeff Jones, Billy Brake, Adam Corn, you name it. Anyone who's ever been considered good at this game, you've scrubbed out, right? Like if you played enough, you scrubbed out. The only people who haven't scrubbed out are people who didn't put it all on the line in the first place, right? You were too cowardly to actually play. But if you play long enough and you play at a high level, you're going to have some tournaments where you just scrub out.
Yeah, and like the way I view scrubbing is like you just every game of Yu-Gi-Oh plays just a percentage chance of you winning or not, even if it's like a good matchup. Like say you have a 90-10 matchup, you still have a 10% chance of losing, and that's
Correct.
Just going to happen eventually. So you just keep playing and just play your best and hope to God that it's your day. But yeah, I don't really care about scrubbing out either. It's just if I played well or not. If I played well and I scrub, there's whatever. That's just Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, I do think accountability is a big part of it. When I scrub, I always think about what I lost to. I mean, when I lose, period, I think about it all the time. I talk about that all the time. But for you, what's your mentality when you scrub out? How do you feel? Because some people go and play side events and stuff like that. I'm a sore loser when it comes to scrubbing out. I do not like to continue playing Yu-Gi-Oh for that weekend. I'm pretty much done.
I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I've never gone 0-2 drop at a tournament.
Oh,
I normally, well, I do scrub, obviously. I don't top everything, but I normally get it to like the second to last round or like last round, then like just scrub out.
Yeah.
But I definitely would not play side event. That's just not worth it. I'd rather just chill and hang out with friends and see how my friends are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, side events are on it, especially at current Edison events. Like the side events are just not good in my opinion. Like winning Hamster Mat means absolutely nothing to me.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I guess it's easier to say I don't play side events when side events are ass.
Yeah. If side events were nice, then that's a different story.
Right. Because I did play in RBET Moreno Valley side event and I won a giant Black Rose. Right. So that was an insane side event.
Yep.
But
it's not, that's a bigger side event. That's not just 8 people too. So,
exactly. Yeah. But like, so you could argue side events could be attacking a giant card, stuff like that, where you actually play it's like top 64. I think you play 64 people, giant card, which is thousands of dollars, or at least $2,000 or something. But I'm not a person that runs from the idea of scrubbing or gets too mad at it or whatnot. I just take it all in stride. It's all part of the story. You learn a lot from losing. I know there's a lot of people who are sore losers out there, and when they lose and they're out the tournament, they kind of rage out. And I can't say I've ever done that. I've never been that guy to like get really, really, really mad where I start crying or I start hitting things or just like I burst out of the room. I've seen people storm out of the room. I've seen it all. I've played Yu-Gi-Oh for so long. I've gone to so many events. I've seen a lot of crazy things happen when people.
There's been a guy who punched a hole in the wall at Nats one year.
Yeah, some guy flipped the table.
Oh, yep.
There's a guy who I'm not gonna say his name, but he is pretty well known, I would say. But he flipped a table when he lost. He fucking flipped. Imagine you playing. You're in whatever game, and the fucking table flips while you're dueling, and all of your cards and everything are just that had to be, and he got banned for this, but that had to be the craziest thing ever.
Yeah, better double sleeve, I guess. I don't know. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah, I did say I'm going to start doing that now, but that's a whole different topic. But yes, scrubbing is a part of it. I mean, back in my competitive days when I traveled to almost every YCS under ARG and just like on my own, and even when I was on PPG, I remember 2012 Seattle. I flew all the way to Seattle. This is the format that has Mermails, I think, just came out. So it's like, Mermails just came out, and there's a bunch of other decks too. Like there's good decks to play, right? And I decided to go out there and play Dark Fairies. If you're wondering what the hell that is, Dark Fairies are like Asmodeus and Serbia, or whatever that thing is. The prize cards, like I played that for Seattle. So one of the subtopics of this I want to talk about is like, I don't mind scrubbing out if I play a deck that is not proven. If I'm taking a chance on a deck, if I fly out to an event or go to an event and the deck is kind of like a meta call that I'm making, maybe people don't even know about it, The reason is, and I guess that I'm always going to be biased here, but when I won YCS Atlanta, the deck I played at that event, the deck that I flew out with, was a deck that was not proven. It was not known, right? And I won the entire event. So I think that a part of me will always still be chasing that high a little bit, where like, even if a deck is kind of considered unknown or mid or whatever, but I think it has potential, or it's good or whatever I think about it, that made me want to play it. I'll sometimes sacrifice an event and try something. Like that's how Dragoonities happen. I taught with Dragoonities. I got top 16 at YCS Charlotte 2011 because I played Dragoonity, and Dragoonity at the time, it just came out. No one knew if it was good or not. Most people thought it was shit. Like in the private circles, like with the better players, the deck is terrible. Like the structure deck came out, we tried it, it's not good. I said I'm going to try it. I like it. Got top 16, but then I try stuff like Dark Fairies. I go O2 drop. I literally went O2. I did play Jeff Jones round 1, but I did go O2 drop. And I was like, yeah, it's okay.
I feel like playing a deck that you don't believe in, though, not saying you didn't believe in it, but there are people out there who just kind of play decks they know aren't good and just will take it as a cop out and be like, oh, I scrub, I was playing this, so I don't care.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Are you really trying then? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really respect that mindset.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because when I brought Dark Fairies, I did think that I had a good call. I practiced it. Like it's not like I built a 40 card deck, went out to Seattle, untested the deck, just said, I'm just going to play and see what happens. I literally played against McCabe and Silverman, I'm pretty sure, leading up to that event. And I was doing good enough in playtesting to feel like I had a genuine shot. It didn't work out, but that's a part of it. Like you see Tom Mack, right? Tom Mack got third place. Yeah, Tom Mack got third place at YCS Richmond with Hero Beat. Yep. He then played Dark Plants at Raleigh. You played him when you won. Then he just played a machine. I don't even know what he played in RBET Maryland, but he played some OTK.
Some Jinzo OTK brew, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why he's playing these decks, because they're...
He got what, 10th at Raleigh and 18th at Maryland? Yeah. So he barely bubbled both of them, which is crazy.
2 spots below top cut both times.
Yeah, he definitely could have gotten top cut. He just wanted to innovate, and I respect that, but he definitely doesn't believe the deck he's playing is the best deck. So that's why he's not like too mad about it.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel when I do it. Every time I choose a deck that's kind of subpar, I'm like, it happens. Like, Dragon Turbo for me, O2 drop. I didn't think Dragon Turbo was the best deck. I did think that it was a better deck than I originally thought. And I still do believe that, just not in my hands. I don't think that I'm lucky enough to play Dragon Turbo. That's how I feel.
See, but then there are people who will just like ride and die on Dragon Turbo, even though if they think it's ass, they'll just keep playing for some God knows why reason. But yeah, I just don't understand those.
The casino feels good when you win, right? And people only remember the games where they drew a perfect curve, they drew their entire deck, and then they OTK their opponent. They only remember that feeling. Whereas people
can't play that type of Yu-Gi-Oh. I cannot play that type of casino. That's not why I play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, you were against it. When I was playing Dragon Turbo, yes. You were immediate. This is at the event before you won too. You were like, "Why are you playing that?" You were mad.
Yeah, you should now. Yeah, I literally told you to your face, never play that deck again.
Yeah,
please.
I think this is our first time meeting too. Like that was our first time meeting.
Yeah.
And you were just like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I love you. Why are you playing this deck? And I was like, no, it's good. And you were like, no, it's not.
You're limiting yourself, man. You're putting on the limiter. But yeah. Okay, so the one thing about scrubbing though, that's with the so like for example, when you scrub with Dragon Turbo, you kind of knew it was like, oh, it's a deck. Like I know I can play better if I play another deck. Yeah, you took it as a learning lesson.
Yeah.
Which I think is a sign of a great player. Like people who can take accountability of why they scrub, I feel like are the scariest players. People who just like, oh, I lost a variance. I'm like, you don't give me the like aura of a champion if you were like, oh, I lost a variance, like the people who like are like, oh, I lost because of this and I'm going to do this next time. Like those are the people that I know are going to get better. Those are the people I'm scared of. And I also will say people who are like have won stuff, but they also have that really salty mentality when they lose. I just don't respect those players as much. I don't know what
I hate that. I think that shit is toxic. If you're a winner, right? If you're a winner, you have to take the losses with the wins. You really do, because it's a bad example for you to be a sore loser and show that, right? Like you show that you're a sore loser to people who look up to you, because then they think that behavior is good. And I hate seeing that type of stuff. I lose so gracefully. I shake my opponent's hand. I wish them good luck in the rest of the tournament. I'll even ask them updates as I see them throughout the day, if I see them. And I'm genuine with it. Like I'm not saying that just because it's what you're supposed to say. I genuinely, they ask me like, oh, is there anything I could have done better? And I'll tell them like, yeah, you probably should have done this better. I would have lost a turn ago if you did this. You could have put this in attack mode. Mirror Force is in the graveyard. You didn't check it. I'll give them actual, like if they ask me for actual advice after the game, I won't just be like, you won, so what does it matter? But I've seen people do that. Like say that exact line. Like what
they win?
Yeah, they win. Like they lose, right? So somebody that I know who's a good player or considered a good player or whatnot, they'll lose to some guy who we don't know who they are. And a guy will ask for advice or anything like that. And they'll say, what does it matter? You won. And like, bro,
Yeah, that's toxic. Not on your part. It's like the toxic on the guy who won. It's like, yo, is there anything I could have done better?
yeah,
Almost toxic.
yeah, like it's toxic to say what does it matter? Well, it's the person who lost who's the better player saying that is what I'm saying.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
so like I beat you. I'm a random guy, Sizzle. I beat you, but I'm asking you because I know that you're two-time champion, Sizzle. I ask you, hey, in that game, even though I won, is there anything that you saw that I like messed up or could have done better? And then you say to me, you lost, by the way. You say to me, what difference does it make? You won.
Yeah. I mean, I would be thinking that, but I'd probably say like you could have done this better. But yeah, I don't know. I can't be that mean. I don't know. It's so hard.
Yeah, that's not in you. I just think that there needs to be more grace in losing. Like it's a part of the game, unfortunately. And Yu-Gi-Oh, the better player doesn't always win. I think a lot of times the better player doesn't win, actually.
Yep.
And this is an unfortunate truth, but the game, it has a lot of variance to it. And the more that the decks become good, the way decks are refined now in Edison, any person can pick up a refined deck list and beat someone with it. Right? Like I could lose to any value turbo player in the world in theory because the deck is good, right? Like the decks that people play, the Blackwing decks, the Hero Frog decks, the value decks, they're just really good decks, regardless of whose hands they are in. Now, obviously they're better if a better player is playing them, but that doesn't mean that a scrub can't just beat the shit out of you one day because they drew Whirlwind a couple times, they drew Dark Arm Burial or whatever, right? Yu-Gi-Oh. So I just learned scrubbing out. We talked about winning, and I just think scrubbing out is the other side of the coin that you have to be willing to accept. Me and you, we're kind of hard on ourselves privately, like to each other when we scrub out. But I think that that's good though, that we talk about our losses and we reflect on that. Right, like when we lost in Maryland, we both talked about it.
Yeah, being objective about it is definitely really helpful. And sharing the same mindset as me of just being super objective and just being like, could we have played any better at all? Like in any possible way, side decking, like even just table mannerisms, giving away stuff. Like there's just very, very hard on ourselves. I was just gonna say like like Yu-Gi-Oh's a numbers game. Like you just have to keep playing and just roll with the losses, and the wins will come. That's all I was gonna say.
That's what you told me before I won. Sizzle told me, don't play Dragon Turbo, play Hero Frogs. You've topped every time you play Hero Frogs. Then he said, if you top this many times, you'll eventually win. Like, let's say you top, if you top 10 events, you're going to win one of them just based off of like math, right? So just mathematically, if you top 10 events, you'll probably win one of them. And I thought about it. I was like, I guess that does make sense. When you put it like that, when you make it just a numbers thing, it does sound correct. Eventually, you're going to be one of the 8 people. You're going to be the one guy out of the 8 who won.
Yeah. I didn't say like if you top, I was just saying in general, like, let's just say like you have a higher chance than 1%, but let's just say anyone in the world right now, like let's just say they have a 1% chance of winning a tournament. Mm-hmm. They have to enter 100 tournaments then, but eventually they're going to win.
Yes, just
like even if they're not good, but they will win because they have that 1% and will hit. So just keep playing, I guess, get better. Yeah.
When I scrubbed out of Maryland, I remember you and I talking about my loss, and we both agreed there were things I could have done differently. I kept going back and back and back to the point where I discovered where the real misplay was. And that's something I do with myself every single time. And I try not to do it as a hindsight thing, because sometimes if the play is too obscure, then it's just like, bro, you wouldn't have done that.
You're making that play, yep.
Right, you wouldn't have made that play realistically. But this is something that I blatantly could have done better. And I do this with every single loss. It's easier on Dueling Book because I just watch replays and I say, oh, I fucked up here. I just messed up. I take accountability. Maybe it's because I'm older. I take accountability immediately. Like I love reviewing it and finding out what I did wrong. And then I committed to memory. And now I'm like, all right, I'll never do that again. I messed up. I committed to memory. And now I'm just going to improve as a player. I'm going to be a bigger threat next tournament.
I actually like it when I messed up because that means I can learn from it. It sucks more like reviewing it over and over in my head or on DB. I'm like, damn, I couldn't have done anything. Like I just lost for no reason, essentially. Like I didn't get any EXP from that match. Yeah. But when you like actually learn something, it's like, hell yeah, next time, like I'm going to be a better player.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. Well, that is our time, guys. Let us know what you think about this topic of scrubbing. Have you ever scrubbed out of a tournament? What is your biggest scrub out story? Let us know in the comments section, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace.